Samuel hears God's call, a bedtime story. In the quiet hills of ancient Israel, there stood a sacred place called Shiloh. Here, the tabernacle of the Lord rested, a holy tent where people came to worship and pray. Inside this peaceful sanctuary, oil lamps flickered softly through the night, casting gentle shadows on the woven curtains and sacred vessels. In this temple lived a young boy named Samuel. He was not an ordinary child, for his very life was an answer to prayer. His mother, Hannah, had longed for a child for many years. She had wept before the Lord, promising that if God blessed her with a son, she would dedicate him to the Lord's service. And God heard her prayer. When Samuel was still very young, Hannah brought him to the temple, placing him in the care of Eli, the elderly priest. Though it must have broken her heart to leave her precious son, Hannah kept her promise. Each year she would visit Samuel, bringing him a new robe she had lovingly made with her own hands. Samuel grew up within the temple walls, learning to serve the Lord. He would help Eli with daily tasks, tending the sacred lamps, keeping the temple clean, and assisting with the sacrifices. The boy was faithful and obedient, and everyone who knew him loved him dearly. Eli, the old priest, had grown dim of sight. His own sons had not followed God's ways, bringing sorrow to their father's heart. But in young Samuel, Eli found hope and joy. The boy was like a bright lamp in the gathering darkness. Now in those days, the word of the Lord was rare. Visions were not common. People waited and longed to hear from God, but the heavens seemed silent. One peaceful night, when all was still and quiet, Samuel lay down to sleep in his usual place near the ark of God. The sacred lamp of God still burned softly, not yet gone out. Everything was calm and restful. Then through the silence a voice called out, "Samuel!" The boy's eyes opened. Someone was calling his name. It must be Eli, he thought. Perhaps the old priest needed something. Samuel got up and ran to Eli's chamber. "Here I am, for you called me," Samuel said gently. But Eli looked confused. "I did not call you, my son. Go back and lie down." Samuel returned to his place, puzzled but obedient. He settled back into his bed and closed his eyes once more. Again the voice came through the darkness, "Samuel." Once more the boy rose and hurried to Eli. "Here I am, for you called me." Again Eli shook his head. "I did not call, my son. Lie down again." Samuel did not yet know the Lord, for God had not yet revealed himself directly to the boy. He returned to his sleeping place, wondering about the mysterious voice. For the third time the voice called, "Samuel." And for the third time Samuel rose and went to Eli. "Here I am, for you surely called me." Now Eli understood. His heart must have quickened with wonder and perhaps a touch of sadness. God was calling the boy, not the old priest. After all these years of silence, God was speaking again, but not to Eli. The wise old priest instructed Samuel gently, "Go lie down, and if the voice calls you again, you shall say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.'" Samuel returned to his place. The temple was quiet once more. His heart beat with anticipation. Then the Lord came and stood there, calling as before, "Samuel! Samuel!" This time the boy was ready. With courage and humility he answered, "Speak, for your servant is listening." And God spoke to Samuel that night, revealing things that would come to pass. Though the message was difficult, Samuel listened carefully to every word. When morning light crept through the temple, Samuel rose and went about his duties, opening the doors as he did every day. But his heart was full of wonder and also fear, for the message God had given him was heavy. Eli called to him, "Samuel, my son." "Here I am," Samuel answered. "What did the Lord say to you?" Eli asked. "Please do not hide it from me." And Samuel, though it was hard, told Eli everything. He hid nothing from the old priest. Eli received the words with humble acceptance. "It is the Lord. Let him do what seems good to him." From that night forward Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him. None of Samuel's words fell to the ground unfulfilled. All Israel, from Dan to Beersheba, came to know that Samuel was established as a prophet of the Lord. And so in the quiet temple at Shiloh, a young boy learned to listen for God's voice and to answer with faith and obedience. His story reminds us still that God speaks to those who listen, to the young and the old alike, calling us each by name in the stillness of the night. Rest now and listen for the gentle voice that calls to you.